Art is one of those things that really never change no matter how long you look at it. You can look at the Mona Lisa, the statue of David, Impression Sunrise, at the time of creation, even till today, and you won't think it looks worse. You may have different interpretations of these pieces, but you won't truly think that it looks worse. The lines in Mona Lisa won't suddenly look too rigid. The statue of David's shape won't suddenly appear to be weird. Impression Sunrise won't suddenly be too simple. But why are video games prone to becoming dated in a couple years, while other works of art able to remain timeless for life? Technology may be a factor. Computer-generated graphics have been evolving ever since its inception. If quality is tied in tandem with the level of technology, then naturally the condition of art will rise as the computer improves. But this argument is flawed, as the technology in traditional creation has increased ever since art entered the world. Artists slowly use more colors, utilize different brush techniques, employ different tools, but still, art is one where quality isn't objectively deteriorated as time passes. New pieces may become more sophisticated, but old ones never become inferior. With video games, it's a different story. Upon release, a work may be cutting-edge realistic, but in a year or two, a low-poly, unappreciated work. This question may be answered devoid of technology, instead with something more personal, the human aspect. With traditional art, the human touch has always been present, from the simplest finger painting. It was easier to create with personality because the medium of conventional art can only come from that, the person. However, with computer-based artwork, one cannot simply wield an idea and expect the computer to act as a canvas and allow for such creative endeavors. Put clearly, video games were confined within its medium. One can only do what is possible at the time. Instead of the individual being able to freely create, he is now dictated by technology, only given permission to do the things that is allowed. With my explanation, it may seem video games at all can't ever have art style that is timeless. However, they do remain. There are those who have defied the limitations, not in the groundbreaking way, but from a different perspective, a stylistic perspective. Video games whose graphics are truly timeless are those who ignore the limitations, to not go beyond, but to do what they would like. As soon as technology progressed beyond text on a screen, artists were able to hold on to more choices. With more choices, more freedom to do as much or as little as they like. I know that the retro age of game consoles, like the PlayStation 1, have graphics that get a bad reputation for ugly games, but truly there are titles with timeless styles. Titles from a gamer who has seen the capabilities of what can be achieved today in 2024. But still, I look at them with fondness. These are beautiful games. Games such as Final Fantasy Tactics and Grandia. Nintendo 64 games like Paper Mario and Majora's Mask. Game Boy games like Pokemon, Game Boy Advance games like Metroid and Golden Sun. I remember Asmongold once said that graphics are really a yes or no thing. Either they're good or they're bad. Games don't have to be realistic, just like how a painting's quality isn't judged based on how realistic it can be, but mostly on how it portrays itself to its audience. This was a very long way to say that it is style that makes a game's graphics timeless. Style is what lets artists gain personal touch in a piece. It lets them ignore the limitations set by technology, transcending, thinking only about what they want rather than what they are allowed to do. And I know that most of the examples I've shown have been pixel-based. That's not to say that pixel art equals timeless art style. Pixel art is a timeless medium, as it's one of the most basic forms a developer can choose. Pixel art before will look the same as it does now. But there are other styles where I think highlight personality apart from pixels. Team Fortress 2, Half-Life, Call of Juarez, Portal, RuneScape, StarCraft 2 are games you can look at today and still look good. To be honest, most games I can think of have a timeless style. While making this video, I thought I would have a good example of a game that looks ugly, but I've been having a lot of trouble thinking about one. Most, if not all, games have a timeless style. A lot of work and effort goes into making these worlds and characters. I think it to be intellectually dishonest to really say a game looks bad. That's where the difference lies, though. Games like Only Up, Grand Theft Auto: The Definitive Edition, the day before Warcraft 3 Reforged. Most mobile games, these games are ugly. They're hideous in the way they look, the way they were made, and the way they made you feel. These are greedy games, devoid of any real personality. You can tell these games were only created to generate profit, to purely make a quick buck. These games are horrendous. No matter how stylish they can be, they will always be ugly. It feels that there's an underlying emotion that comes with video games that is able to detect corporate greed, because there is no rational reason that I think Garry's Mod's graphics are better than the day before, because one is clearly more advanced than the other. Video games and art are one of the same. Let your game be a means for transaction, and that is all it will be remembered for. But let your game reflect your touch and passion, it will be remembered forever.